Okay, good day, friends. How are you this afternoon? I trust I find all of you well, and we are back again with yet another video on personal development. Today, we are going to look at the tool that we have developed at Aleph Innovations, the tool on personal development. So, we use this tool to help you with your personal development journey. Through this tool, we help you map yourself where you are, look at your desired outcome that you want to be after you have gone through our program. And then we take the real you, your current state, and the ideal you where you want to be after going through the program. Then we look for the interventions that will move you from where you are into the ideal person. This is basically what the tool does. But before we get to the tool and interrogate the tool more, let us go back and look at our personal development program, our paradigm on personal development, how we view personal development as Aleph Innovations. Now, we have got our own view of personal development. Our paradigm on personal development, we have placed the personal development, we have categorized it into three different categories. And these three different segments, we have called them the laws of personal development. So there are three separate laws that guide personal development. We're not going to go through the laws because we want to look at the tool. So we are going to just scan through the laws, talk about them, and move quickly into the laws. Now, the first segment of our laws on personal development, we said that it is about spirituality. And we said that spirituality is our belief as human beings in a superpower, our belief as human beings in something that is bigger than us, which we can't control. And so we said in personal development, there are 5 things that are in each and every human being, which we don't control, which we have no choice over, which we just find them as part of our lives. This is why we view them as spiritual things. They belong in the spirituality realm because no one has got a choice over them. So these 5 things, the first thing is origins. No one amongst us chooses where they originate from. We may hold different beliefs about where life comes from, but no one chooses anything about origins. The second thing is your identity. There's no one who chooses their identity. There's no one who chooses who they come out to be. Our facial features, we don't choose them. Our fingerprints, we don't choose them. The voice that we have, we don't choose it. We can try and mimic other people, but we have something that identifies you as a unique person, which you have got no choice over. The third thing on this spirituality aspect of you as a human being, which makes you develop and become a better person, it is self-awareness. All of us, we create relations with the different people, we create relations with the other people, and there is no one who is not able to create a relationship with another person. Then the fourth thing is the self-confidence. All of us, we've got different thoughts. The thoughts that we have, the things that we think about, we are able to act out our thoughts as long as we are confident. So all of us, we have inbuilt in us self-confidence. At times we may have experiences that kill the self-confidence that we have, but it is there. It is embedded in us. It just needs to be revived, to be made to work out. And then the fifth thing is natural skills. All of us, we've got natural skills. We are all talented differently and uniquely. So these 5 things, no one has got a choice over them. You can't go to any shop and buy any of these 5 things. You can't go to any school and be taught about these 5 things. You can't go to any surgery or hospital and have them operate on you so that you have any of these 5 things. They are in you, they are part of you. The second segment of personal development, which makes the second set of laws on personal development, that we believe in as Aleph Innovations, it is in our communities now, our society. Now we're looking at the spirituality, which is individual. We are now saying as individuals, we come together, we form a community, we form a society. As a community, how do we help each other develop and become better people? So there are 4 laws that affect our personal development in our community. So as a community, when we come together, when we agree on certain things, when we hold on to certain values, we end up with what is called a culture. So within our culture, there are 4 things that help shape us to be who we are. The first thing is training and development. In our different cultures, we have different ways through which we train and develop each other, through which we help each other become better people. Second law is support structures. Within our cultures, we have various support structures. Your family, your immediate family is your first support structure. Your parents, your siblings, they are your first support structure. And then we've got relatives, we've got aunties, we've got uncles. They play different roles in shaping us, in molding us, in making us to become better people. And then there are different formal and informal support structures. Within the formal space, this is where we find our formal education. In the informal space, there is so much that groups us together. You know, one of the informal support structures that you and me have, that you may not have maybe taken note of or cared about, it is the numbers that you save in your phone book. That is a support structure. Another informal support structure that we have, you and me, we all have role models. If you stay close to your role model, find out about what makes them to be who they are, that role model becomes your support structure. Then the third one is community development. You know, when communities are developing, when we talk about community development, it is not the community that develops. It's actually, it's people who are being helped to develop. Now, with community development, there is activism. Some of us say that we don't want to be activists. We don't want to participate in these things of politicians and so on, because the people who are involved in those things are characters that we don't want to identify with. Community development is very important because as the community develops, it creates opportunities for you to then utilize your natural skills that will make you to be successful. The fourth thing, the fourth law on our culture, it is monetization of our skills. I once made a presentation somewhere and somebody said, when you say monetizing skills, it's too big a word and it confuses us. This is entrepreneurship. This is you now taking your skills out there into the market and saying, these are the skills that I possess. What can you pay me for those skills? The skills that you possess, when you have trained and developed yourself, when you have utilized support structures that you have, when you have taken advantage of community development programs that are taking place, you can fit in your skills there and monetize them. Come up with a business that you can utilize for your skills. Then the last law, so our laws are 10, now we have 9. The 10th one, which is the last law, it stands on its own. We call it the socio-economic law. Now, the socio-economic law, this is where we are distributing natural resources. There is no community that does not have natural resources. Within your geographic location, there are so many natural resources. The land where you do your agriculture, the animals that are out there, your flora and fauna, the mountains, the hills, all those are natural skills. The oil that is underground, the fish that are in the sea, the minerals that are underground, those are natural resources. And then we also have acquired resources. Us as human beings, when we train and develop our skills, the skills that we have, the natural capabilities that we possess, those are acquired resources. Now, these resources, they are distributed. When they are being distributed, we create what are called economic activities. As we exchange goods, as we exchange services, these economic activities, they happen within a society, they happen within our communities, within our confined spaces. So this is the socio-economic law, the way we distribute and share our resources. How do we do that? So we've got these 10 laws of personal development. When you master these 10 laws, you don't fail. It is impossible for you to fail to find a space where you can utilize your life, where you can make yourself to be a better person. Now we are saying, you have gone through our program where we've taken you through these 10 laws. Having taken you through these 10 laws, we are then saying there's a tool that you can use in order for you to master these 10 laws so that they help you develop yourself, become a better person. Now, before we get to the tool, here are a few things that we need to look at and talk about. The first thing that we need to look at and talk about, it is your personality deportment, the way that you are, your personality, you as an individual. How are you? How do you express yourself? How do you come out within the community, within the society where you are? So there are a few things, 3 of them, that define you, that define your personality. The first thing is your temperament. Your temperament, this is how you are as a person. Some say that temperament is your natural, the natural exhibition of who you are, but your temperament is influenced. You are not naturally born to become something. Your environment, the people you interact with, they have a role to play in nurturing you, in making you become something else. Those laws we spoke about on culture, right? So on temperament, what we are looking at here is your worldview. You know, there are several things that give us a worldview. Worldview is the way that you picture life, the way that you picture the world, the way that you picture existence, the way that you picture knowledge, the way that you picture the world. That's your worldview. So there are a few things that influence your worldview. I've just picked 4 of those things. So the 4 things that I've picked are spirituality, your belief in a super being that controls life. It has an effect on your worldview. I've also picked on philosophy. Some of us, we value philosophy more than everything else, and the philosophy guides the way we view the world. There are some who are scientifically minded. We value science, we reverence science, and the science becomes the one that controls the way we view the world. The 4th one is culture. Some of us, we value culture so much such that everything we do is centered around culture. So these are the 4 things that I pick up and say they inform our worldview. You could add on this list, you could have your own other things that you prefer, but generally, most of us, these 4 things, they affect the way we think and view our world. Now, the second thing that comes with the temperament, it is your character. Now with character, I'm just going to pick on 2 things that affect our character. And we all understand what character is. There are 2 things that define your character. The first thing is moral behavior. Morality has got to do with you behaving in a way that is acceptable within a given community. There are some things in certain communities that are viewed to be normal, that are viewed to be acceptable, that are viewed to be natural. There are some things in certain communities that are a no-go area. If you do certain things in certain communities, they are not acceptable. So morality has got to do with you being conscious of what is acceptable in a certain community. Then there is ethical conduct. Now ethics, this is you. It's no longer about what the community now views. This is you. You being a trustworthy person. You being a person who is reliable. You promise to do something and you are able to do it. So your character will help you become the person that you are, depending on how you control yourself in a crowd, depending on how you sell yourself, whether you are someone whom people can trust, whether you are someone who says things that you don't do, whether you are someone who are so vocal about things that you actually don't practice. Now, the second thing that we want to look at with your personality is aptitude. Aptitude is, we can loosely define aptitude as intelligence, natural intelligence, general intelligence. Let me put it that way, your general intelligence. So what is the importance of intelligence in what we are talking about here? Now, intelligence, it will help you with adapting to change. You've got to be intelligent to be able to adapt to change. They say that in life, the only constant we have in life is change. When we grow from being a toddler into a grown-up child, into a primary kid, into a high school child, into a young adult, into an adult, there are so many changes that take place. Outside our growth, on a day-to-day basis, as the sun sets and another day comes up, things change. As the week ends and another week comes, things change. As the month ends and another month comes, things change. Why in the beginning of December is a different month from November? There are things that happen in December that don't happen in any other month. So change is always with us. We are always experiencing change. You've got to be intelligent enough to adapt to change. When things have changed, behave in the manner that shows that things have changed. If we are in December, don't exhibit the needs of, don't exhibit the behavior of a person who is living in June. Acknowledge that you are in December, you are in the end of the year. You've got to start making preparations for the coming year. You've got to celebrate your achievements in the past year. You've got to acknowledge that another year is about to come. Now, with aptitude, with intelligence, comes upskilling of talents. We say that everyone, all of us, we've got talents. And we say that our talents, when we have upskilled them, when we have developed them, we are able to turn them into commercial activities where we can make money out of our talents. So you've got to be clever enough to develop your skill to an extent that you can market the skill, you can go and sell the skill out there, and people pay you a premium for the things that you are good at doing. Now, the third thing is emotional intelligence. Now, emotional intelligence, we put it as separate from aptitude because it is important on its own. There are two things that go with the emotional intelligence that we want to look at and scrutinize. The first one is interpersonal relations. It is important for you to be conscious of creating credible relations. People are your most valued asset in your journey to success. You will not do well if you don't have good relations with other people. There are some people that you will have to tolerate. You don't like them. You don't agree with their way of thinking. You don't even agree with things that they prefer. Some of them religiously, they believe in different things, but those people can be your most valued customers. So you must be able to create credible relations with the different people. Interpersonal skills, very important. So you've got to have that intelligence which allows you to create relations with the people who are your valued asset. Second thing with emotional intelligence, you've got to be able to handle your emotions. You know, some of us, we are living lives that are not at their best. We have potential to do better than what we are doing. What stands between us and the best performance and the success? It is the way we fail to handle emotions. Be able to handle emotions. Don't allow emotions to carry you. There are times when you are supposed to exhibit maybe a joyous occasion, maybe you are supposed to show that you are happy, but there are times where you are supposed to carry yourself in a different state. Allow yourself to behave in a manner that is in line with the environment. Don't have a short fuse that when the environment now calls you to behave in a certain way, you feel aggrieved. You throw your toys out of the pram and you are screaming and shouting at everyone. Don't do that. If you are happy, if you are excited, if things are going well for you, be conscious of other people who are around you. Right. Now, having looked at this, this is a personality deportment. We want to go back and interrogate that worldview thing a little bit before we go to our tool. That worldview which we spoke about, remember we said that people are influenced by different things. Now, if you look at things, if you look at spirituality on its own, there is so much that is around it. It is not one thing to say that, we believe in a super God, we believe in a creator. When you say you believe in God, you may be saying something different to another person. There are a few things we'll talk about. We'll just pick up a few of those. There are 7 worldviews that people hold on to when it comes to spirituality. There's theism. Theism are people who believe in a God who performs miracles. A God who created the world. After creating it, he didn't leave it. He is still within the world. He is still controlling things that are happening. He is able to do miraculous things with the world that he created. There is deism. There are people who believe that God created the world. After creating it, he left it on its own. There is pantheism and panentheism. These are people who also hold different beliefs. They believe that any living thing has got God in itself. So any living thing is actually God. You are God, me, I am God. Anything that breathes is a God. Then there are people who believe in finite Godism. These people say that for evil to exist, it means that God, there's a place where God is not able to go beyond. God is limited. There are things that God cannot do. That is why we ended up with sin, because God could not control what happened for us to end up with the sin. Then there are people who believe in polytheism. Poly is in many, theism, what we described earlier on. So there are people who believe in many gods. There are people who believe in a God of fertility, God of rain, God of what. You will walk into some people's places of worship and you find them with so many gods that they worship and they believe in. So when you say you believe in a super being, you believe in a super creation, you may be speaking something different to somebody else. And the worldview of this person is influenced by these things. If you don't know these things, if you don't question these things, if you don't look at these ideas closely, some of them may be influencing you and you may not be aware of what is influencing you. Okay, then outside spirituality, there are people who believe in philosophy. They hold philosophy in high regard. So this could be a spiritual person who believes in God. But even though they believe in God, they also believe that philosophy is everything to them. They believe in knowledge. Things must make sense. They believe that you can't tell them of something that doesn't make sense. Things must make sense. There are people who believe in reality. Something must be realistic. You can't just bring ideas that, so unless something is real to them, unless they can think it, they can reason it out, then it doesn't excite them, it doesn't move them. Then there are people who believe in existence. They hold value to existence more than anything else. As long as we exist, as long as there is life. So philosophy, for some people, is not just a study, but it influences their life, it influences their thinking, it influences their view of the world. Then there are people who hold science in high regard. So science tells us that things must be systematic. Science tells that things must be structured. Science tells us that things must be organized. So there are some people who their view of life, unless something is systematic, structural, organized, unless they can take something and put it in a test tube, put it in a controlled environment and study how it's working, how it's performing, then they don't believe in it. So they hold the science in high regard. So this could be someone who is spiritual. This could be someone who has got some philosophical understanding of life, but still they hold the science in high regard. Then there are some people who hold the culture in high regard. They look at culture and they value culture more than anything else. Ideas, customs, social behavior. This is what controls their life. Yeah. So they could be spiritual, they could be scientific, they could be philosophical, but culture is what is the most important thing in their life. So you've got to understand yourself and know what informs your worldview, what influences you, so that you are able to see how to direct and control your life. Now we want to move to the tool itself. Having looked at all these things, having said all these things, now we are coming to the personal development tool. Remember, the person that we are taking into this tool is someone that we have taken through the personal development program. We've gone through those 10 laws with you and identified each law and how it is affecting your life. Now we are taking those things and putting them into this tool so that we can say, here you are. What can we do to move you from where you are into the life that you want to lead? Now, this tool also goes with a 20-year plan. Before we even take you to the tool, we must know what your plan is, so that as we work at your ideal world, the ideal person that you want to be, we are coming from where you are now, what you want to be 20 years from now. How do you get there? That's what defines your ideal. Now, this is an example that we used for someone who has gone through our personal development program. And these are the things that we identified in them. So we've got their reality, and then we've got this arrow that is the interventions. The interventions will then move them from their reality to their ideal. This person has put down their 20-year plan. There are things they are working on now as year one towards 20 years. And as they are working on these things, what is it that they must do? Bearing in mind the 5 laws of that are spiritual, which we don't control. The 4 laws, which are cultural, which we may have an influence over. And then the socio-economic law, which when we are aware of how it operates, we definitely have got to have a way of controlling it. So now what we found from this person, having taken them through these laws, we found this about them. Having looked at their personality deportment, we then came up with these things and the interventions which move them to their ideal world. We found that this person, number 1, they had low self-esteem. That was their first problem. And then we said, the ideal person who will be able to achieve the 20-year plan that they have must be self-confident. So what do they need to do? Since they have a low self-esteem, for them to be self-confident, what do they need to do? First thing, they must believe in themselves. Have belief in yourself. The second thing, interact with the community. And the 4th thing, be ambitious. Now, if you look at these 4 things, these interventions you will find they are littered in our 4 laws. Belief in yourself, self-confidence. Self-confidence, which will make you believe in yourself. You don't have to go and buy it at a shop. You don't have to go to school and get a certificate in self-confidence. It's something you already have. It's just fine-tuning your mind, resetting, calibrating the way you think so that you believe in yourself. You believe that any idea that you think about, you are able to act it out. Interact with the community. We spoke about community development. Be aware of the activities that are taking place within your community and be ambitious. When you know that within my community, this is what is happening, have an ambition, go out and chase after your goals. Once you do that, you are going to be self-confident. So as we are looking at the 20-year plan, we will now be going back to look at how you are doing in terms of believing in yourself towards attaining your 20-year plan, in terms of interacting with the community, understanding the projects, the activities that are happening in your community, in terms of being an ambitious person. The second thing that we found out with this individual was that they were indecisive. For them to achieve their 20-year plan, they have to be decisive. What do they have to do? What interventions can we come up with which will move them from their reality to this ideal person that we want them to be? we said that they must always have credible information. You know, you are indecisive when you don't have enough information and proper information. But when you have credible information, it will help you make proper decisions. There are so many sources of information that we have. And one of the best source of information that we currently have now, it's your phone. With your phone, you've got the world in your hands. With the phone, the world is in your hands. With the phone, you can go and access social media, you can access news, you can verify anything. You can go to government websites, you can go to community project websites, you get all the necessary information for whatever it is that you want. The second thing we said, for them to be decisive, they must be factual. You know, at times we make decisions based not on facts, but based on our feelings, based on our preferences, based on what we think is supposed to be the right thing. Be factual. Get information, sift it, and have facts. Confirm what you have been told. The third thing, we said that they must plan for all options. So as you are working on any program, on any plan, on any project, have a scenario plan. Have a scenario set up so that you can see if this thing works well, this is how I will do to keep it going well. If this thing doesn't go well and it flops, this is what I will do from resuscitating it. If this thing is not going to work at all, this is what I will do to discard the plan, go back to the drawing board and plan again. Once you operate like that, you will be decisive. You will not struggle to make a decision. The third thing that we looked at is that we saw that this person had a lack of thorough planning. And then we said for them to deal with this problem, what they needed to do was to work on their self-identity. For you to have your self-identity, you must have clear knowledge of values. So that you know which values you stand for, which values you believe in. Then we say that they must have principles for their life. Have principles. Don't just be someone who is blown by the wind. Have things that you say, this one I do, this one I don't do, this one I stand for, this one I don't. If there is an opportunity in things that are against your principles, don't do it. Because you will be chasing after success, but it will be against what you believe in. Have a vision. Have a belief system. You know, some of these things, we do them because this is how our system, the humanity system, is wired. You can say that you don't believe in anything. You can say that you just live your life anyhow. But the thing is, as a person, you are wired to have a belief system. There's something that you must believe in. And unless you are conscious of it, you will have a problem. The fourth thing that we found out about this individual that we were dealing with as we were working on this tool was that they had inadequate knowledge in conducting credible research. Research is very important because whatever we do, we must research. We must have proper knowledge of things that we are doing. So when you have inadequate knowledge in conducting credible research, it means that as you work, you can't be strategic. So we said that the ideal person that they should be, they must be strategic. Right? So when you are strategic, you are focused. When you are strategic, you have time management. When you are strategic, you prioritize your resources. When you are strategic, you set achievable goals. So these are the things that they must do. These are the things that they must work on, which will move them from someone who has inadequate knowledge about conducting credible research into a strategic person. The fifth thing that we found out about them, they had limited knowledge in civic activism and policy formulation. So there's things that they want to do, there's things that they want to achieve in life, but they don't know what are policies that support this thing that I want to do. There are programs, there are projects that are taking place within their community. They don't know what those programs are. Maybe some of the programs that are taking place within their community are addressing the thing that they want to do. They have no idea. So we said that they ought to be meticulous. They ought to be on top of their game in terms of knowing things that are happening around them. Now, for one to be able to say that they are meticulous in the knowledge, in planning, they must collect and assess credible information. Don't just collect any information. Collect information, assess it for credibility. Use reliable sources of information. You know, when you are out there and you are hearing people talking, naturally people find it easy to blame, find it easy to complain. You can hear people blaming the very institution that is meant to help you. You can hear people complaining about the very individuals who are holding the keys to unlock the door that leads to your success. So unless you collect credible information, unless you assess the information that you collect, unless you have reliable sources of information, unless you have the ability to validate all information that comes your way, you cannot be meticulous in planning and acting out what you are doing. So this is what will move this person from having limited knowledge into a meticulous person who is able to make plans and act out what they have planned. And then we said, this person had a challenge in implementing and holding a government to account. This is a challenge that we all have. This is a challenge that all of us have, most of us rather, not all of us, most of us have this problem. So in order for you to implement ways of holding government to account, you ought to be an activist. Why do you need to hold government to account? Because government is the one that is in charge of creating a credible environment where we can act out our things, where we can, where socioeconomic environment that we spoke about, the distribution, credible and fair distribution of natural and acquired resources. This is what government is in charge of. So we've got to know what government is doing, how they are doing it. We've got to be activists. Unless we are, then there is no way we will be able to hold our government to account. A government that is doing what it is meant to be doing cannot have citizens who are struggling, cannot have citizens who are failing to get opportunities. We are struggling as we are because we're not holding our government to account. We have leaders elected who are in office, no one is holding them to account. Now, how do you hold the government to account? As you are, as an individual walking the dusty streets of your community, how do you hold the government to account? The first thing, voluntary work. Look for opportunities for voluntary work. There are so many where you can volunteer your services and assist in what is happening. Right now, we are in the 16 days of activism. There's so much voluntary work you can do towards that. And it will open up your eyes, expose you to opportunities, make you realize and understand how resources are being spent in terms of making sure that the vulnerable in our communities, the girl child and our ladies, how are they protected? Attend community meetings. Most of us, there are community meetings in our areas on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. Some of us, we have never even heard of a community meeting. We've never attended a community meeting. The communities where we reside in, most of our community meetings, the attendance is not more than 10% because we don't attend those meetings. Be well versed and participate in process to elect public leaders. This one, some of us, we are very guilty of it because we associate electing of public leaders with the contestation for that public office. So for us, electing public leaders, all it has to do with the campaigns, people holding rallies, people contesting for office, and people putting on a political party regalia and screaming slogans, and we think it's all about that. Whereas electing leaders starts with us identifying the needs we have. When we have identified our needs, we then choose someone amongst us who can lead us in achieving these things that we want done. You find we elect people into leadership positions, and yet those people are not able to deliver the things that we want them to do. So when we hold our government to account, it helps us to then see if what they are doing is in line with what we want. Now, some of us, we are not even familiar with the policies that are being formulated, policies that were formulated a year, 2 years ago, policies that are being formulated this year, policies that must be formulated next year. We're not even aware of how these policies get to be formulated. You can't be an activist if you don't know these things. And if you don't know these things, if you're not an activist, then it means you will not be able to hold your government to account. When you are not able to hold your government to account, it means the things that you want to do, you will not be able to do them because government is not providing a credible environment for you to do these things. So this is what we came up with as we were looking at the tool that this individual needed as we took them through the personal development program. You also can go through the program so that we do this tool for you, so that we come up with a 20-year plan for you. If you want, the 20-year plan can actually be turned into your business plan. And through the 20-year plan, you actually come up with a business project that you can run, that you can run with and go. The advantage with us at Aleph Innovations is that we don't only do personal development training, we are also actually business advisors. So in your 20-year plan, when we incorporate a business plan, we will help you with your business plan. We also have what we call a entrepreneur support framework, a framework that we use to support an entrepreneur, to support an idea. From it being an idea, we help you develop it into a business concept. We help you come up with a business strategy for it. We help you incorporate yourself and become a non-business. We help you monetize the idea, how you are going to make money out of the idea. We help you with the business processes. Once you are incorporated and you are a legal entity that can trade, that can make contracts, what processes do you do in order for you to do your business activities? We help you with the upskilling. We help develop you into a proper business person who thinks like a business person. If you have a team, we help your team work in a manner that is in line with the growth and the size of your business, with your vision, with your ideals. And then we also help you monitor how the business is performing. We help you monitor the progress that the business has done. So when we monitor, we also evaluate, are you still in line with your views? Are you still in line with your vision? Or do you need to develop this business and do it in a different, or the business is not going in the direction that you wanted it to go? If that is the case, we help you come back to the drawing board and start afresh. Whether you do a different business or we revive this current one so that it does well. So we are not only personal development practitioners, but we are also business advisors. Your 20-year plan, if it is a business idea, we can turn it into a business project. We can give you a support that any entrepreneurial business needs. Even if your business is already operating, is already functioning, we can still help you. So the presentation for today, if we are to sum it up, we are saying personal development is a program that each and every one of us must go through, because it helps you identify you. Who are you? It helps you identify and acknowledge your community where you live in. It helps you come up with a vision of where you fit in that community. How are you going to survive so that you chase after your dream, so that you do the job that you've always dreamt of doing, so that you run the business that you have always dreamt of running? Success is something that we all attain when we live lives that are planned, that are programmed. Check out our website, follow us on our social media platforms. From time to time, we always have programs where we share these things. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You are going to be getting some of these videos where we will be giving you free knowledge for you to help yourself to become a better person. If there's something that excites us, if there's something that makes us sleep outside our blankets, it is knowledge that somebody out there is doing well. In your groups, in your communities, even in your companies at work, if you want us to come and help you with your personal development programs, to help your people be conscious about personal development, about doing well, call us. We'll come and do that for you. As an individual, you can also get in touch with us. We can do a program for you as an individual. We've got one-on-one programs that we do from time to time, an hour each day. This personal development program, we've packaged it in such that we roll it out as a 10-day program, and we do it via Zoom. Nowadays, whilst we are crying about this pandemic, it has helped us to be able to do things that we couldn't do online. We can now do training with you from the comfort of your home. We can do training with you whilst you are at your workplace, so that we don't disturb you for an hour. For 45 minutes, you can come around your computer or you sit in front of a screen, and then we take you through your training for that short period, and you go back and you continue doing your work. You don't have to be away from work for a day, for 2 days, for 3 days in order for you to go through training. This is the advantage of what technology that came with internet has done for us. So wherever you are, whoever you are, if you want us to take you through this program on personal development, we are happy to do that for you. We are at your service. Until the next production that we are going to be having, stay well, be good, enjoy the rest of your day. We go now.